the one and only Reverend Al Sharpton. Reverend Al, good morning.
Good morning, Rickey.
Reverend Al, where do we even begin after what happened on yesterday?
Well, what we witnessed was unprecedented. You're right. Where do we begin? The President of the United States called on his supporters to come to Washington and support him in an attempted coup. That's what it was. People have to call it what it was. This was called for by Donald Trump. He said, I'm going to be speaking, that I've been robbed, and you need to stand up. And the people came. He incited it. If any one of us that leads a protest, and that wasn't a protest, that was an insurrection. But if any one of us had called people to Washington and led what happened yesterday, we'd be in jail this morning.
Or dead.
Trump, or dead.
That's right.
Or dead. And with Donald Trump should not be allowed to continue as president one more hour because he is dangerous and he has committed an attempted coup and bring on sedition. When you have people go into the Capitol building of the United States and cause violence, one woman dead, having members of Congress fleeing for their own safety, and you act like, oh, that just happened yesterday, bad day, there's something wrong with this republic if we let this stand.
That's right. Now, Reverend Al, do you feel like it could have been avoided? The whole thing that happened, like he could have diffused it?
Mm-hmm. Oh, first of all, he could have not called it. But if he wanted to call it, he should have done what we all do, set a tone that we're here to protest. We don't want any violence. Have marshals there, work with the police and the Capitol Police. Apparently, some of the Capitol Police were either sympathizers or along with this crowd.
Reverend Al, I got videos with them letting them in the gate. They let them in.
Yep,
they
pictures
let them
and everything.
in. They were part of it. Rickey, you and I have been to the Capitol and the White House. You can't even get on the grounds without passing security.
Right.
How did these people get all the way up in there? I mean, you got certain checkpoints you have to go through, even on the Capitol, to go see a congressperson and short vote ID and all. I've done probably more rallies and marches in Washington than anybody alive. You meet with the Capitol Police. You meet with the Parks Department. You have to have insurance if you're going to use the grounds where Trump spoke yesterday. Well, who signed the insurance bond? What group applied for the permit? All of these people need to be held accountable. You don't just walk up and have a rally at the Capitol without all of these things in place.
So, Reverend Al, what do you think about going forward? Lawmakers were able to get back to work and finish certifying Joe Biden and Kamala Harris' election win over the night. So do you think that there will be a peaceful transition of power on the 20th, or are we supposed to expect some more wreckage?
I mean, with this crowd that respects nothing, you can't really predict what they're going to do. I think that there ought to be a serious move to have Trump step aside, because he'll wake up in the middle of the night and start another insurrection. We need to take the powers away from him, and we need to have some real establishment.
Do you think they will, Reverend Al?
I'm hearing some of the members of the Senate raise it. We'll see when they go into session today what they do. They certainly going to have a lot of pressure from many of us.
Well, now, Reverend, let's talk about the good news from yesterday, the really good news. Are you hopeful now that Raphael Warnock and John Ossoff have won both of the Georgia Senate seats? Are you hopeful now?
I'm very hopeful. I think that it is good that we have a 50-50 tie, Democrat and Republican, with giving Vice President-elect Kamala Harris the tie vote. But we must keep the pressure on. Don't forget, you have some Democrats like Manchin of West Virginia and others that sometimes vote Republican. So you've got to keep pressure on to make all 50 Democrats stay in line for things like the George Floyd Policing and Justice Act and the John Lewis Voting Act. Otherwise, we will not be able to win because we will not have a tie for Kamala Harris to break. But being a New Yorker that knows and has worked for decades with the incoming now majority leader, I think that we can expect Senator Chuck Schumer will push some of these things because we're going to be pushing him. But we need to push all the Democrats to stay in line. So it is a good news that I see sunlight, but I also see some clouds still in the sky. I just want to make sure it doesn't rain down some foolishness.
All right, Reverend, now let everybody know how they can follow you and the work that you're doing through the National Action Network.
They can go to www.nationalactionnetwork.net, www.nationalactionnetwork.net.
That is, hey, Reverend Al Sharpton, man, we really appreciate you calling to talk to us this morning, man. It's always an honor, man. Y'all give it up for Reverend Al Sharpton.